for blessing instead. It's actually good to listen to the instructions on the refuge.
Oh, because
the instructions are simple. It's good to hear them.
Okay, so it's okay for me to take refuge.
It's okay, yeah.
So as we're preparing now for the Refuge Ceremony, I have a couple of announcements to pass on from the office. So first of all, for the Refuge Ceremony, if you haven't even if you have taken refuge, but you have not taken refuge with Garchen Rinpoche, then please feel free to take refuge if you haven't already taken refuge with Rinpoche. If you have already taken refuge with Garchen Rinpoche, then there is no reason to come up and have the symbolic hair cutting and get a new card. However, from wherever you sit, you can take refuge again and again and again, and attending these ceremonies especially is another opportunity for us to all do that. But only come up again for the hair cutting and refuge card if you have not done that with Rinpoche before. Also, there are some people who will be leaving today, and they will get their retreat bracelet. There is a retreat bracelet that will be passed out. You'll see people get it at some point today, maybe after the Refuge Ceremony. I don't know exactly when, but the rest of us will get it on the last day. So if you see people with it and think, oh, I didn't get it, I also need, maybe I missed something, you didn't. So no worries, we will be embellished, further embellished at the end of the retreat. So anyways, okay, so thank you very much.
Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Trita chapter free, three chapter in a series of number Sanji chapter, the Chupari, the number Sanji was in a Japan Chuluk Tamsi, Sanji Chulukuni, my young Guyori, that's the truth in a sent to worry. The reason lakwa na wa sanje chiro tene sama chikpare yena tene jamdu pinung zona jamdu domba de huna tene ne kap pimpa san tato deva 대선 구조에 내가 빙바지나 어체들을 좀 하고네 되는 게 다다 다다 동해서 다니게 잡아 가르치니 랑 다니는 뉴모를 기하고 레서 아저와 제나미서 다다고요 오 랑 세바랑 다고 하고시 다니게 잡아 될 내가 빙바서 다들 동해 삼지 오 프랑스 구조에서 타톡 대화는 되니 짱니 속이 짱고래 다니서 이제 사지 공방 맞아 봐도 짱고요 어제는 사지 짱도 그래되네 다 남들 그거 말이면 오 들이 서로 짱도라고 차요래 마시 사지는 가르쳤어 내리 초로 답을 남띵에 초로 짱을 남과데 초로 빼요 내리 치랑 짱고래서 가다 남사한테 무슨 소리 와대 제 사지 송문이 빼 그 강내는 것은 특망고 통도 델레티니 단전 저거만 없지 라그랑 잡을 다 가야게 잡고 하고 말이야 또 싫어하고 잡고 싫어하고 세들라 잡고 요래 오랑 좋아하고 뭐좀막 광고 대사의 광고 존에 사용고 광고를 저거 싫어하고 저거 요래 미나 또 메세드다 보자야 싫어하고 다고 요래 싫어합디 그래서 메세드 기본 나상데 레전드 하고네 들이다다 보자데 내가 저기 사마다 hin지레스 대응을 내가 저기 사마다 hin지 샘니 말하나 근데 놀롱도 사만 도도데 사마다 hin지 서지가 도도 말이 기와는 기와 세랍이 상마제부터 사마다 hin지 있잖아 그 샘콩 이제 되시 뭐 사지리 차롬로래 차롬도 이제 처리해 된 것도 와나 근데 제일 사마당 hin지 말잖아 양다양도 차롱도 신은 다속 상기에서 봐도 차롱도 장토를 탐고요 해서 탐고를 세세배 등에 자와리 베기나나 요리 대회는 질 상hin지도 말잖아 내가 점바다 추첨을 때는 돌게 되와 다속 상티에서 시랍을 때는 다속 되와 진짜 쭈르고 쭈르 갈래 다시 시바요 말이 봐요 갈래 다 시랍 되래 시랍게 랑도고 주바 마더와지 대회는 되니다 사제가 뭐 시합 취지는 뭐 상인지 도저히 뭐 교신이 되니까 그 개발반대 요리 니는 사마들이 카드 속을 랑나더니 약을 때 주로 속은 데시 잡나 레시자 저거를 되니 다순도서 고조선데 저발이 새 고조선데 난거 고조선데 되니 사옹하게 되니 저리 야와리 내 제발요래
So we come to the Refuge Vow. And so in general, all the different refuge vows that you can receive throughout the different Buddhist traditions are the same. So all Buddhist refuge is the same. And now it's not just Buddhism actually. In general, in any religion in the world, there are those qualities of refuge, and there are many good qualities. And so the meaning of the Dharma practice is that we need to change or transform our mind. And now especially within the Buddha Dharma, the Buddhist religion, actually all the different traditions really are essentially the same. And so now in this refuge card, although they are the same, in this refuge card, I again actually reiterated the real benefits of taking refuge, because sometimes that's not so clear for people. So when you take the refuge vow, it is said that there will be a temporary benefit and the ultimate happiness. A temporary benefit is that in this life you will understand karma, cause and effect. And knowing karma, you will be able to accept whatever suffering you experience in this life. You accept it because you understand that that suffering is actually my own creation. I created that with my own actions in a previous life. Those actions that were driven by self-grasping and the afflictive emotions. And now that karma is ripening. So I did that really. And of course, if I did it, I also have to purify it myself. So that's the temporary benefit. You accept the suffering you have in this life because you know karma. And then the ultimate happiness is that, so we go for refuge because we seek protection. And actually, who really gives you any protection? Who will really actually protect you? When we take the refuge vow, we say that when you take the refuge vow, you will be protected from now onwards until attaining enlightenment. And then normally we say that the Buddha will protect you and the 3 jewels will protect you. And so in some sense, on the one hand, that's something that, of course, we need to say that the Buddha will protect you because otherwise it wouldn't be a Buddhist refuge after all. But the truth is that the Buddha himself actually said that actually you have to protect yourself and he cannot protect you. Actually, the other day, I was watching the Buddha's life story, and these are the actual words of the Buddha himself. The Buddha had said, I can show you the path to liberation, but liberation depends on yourself. So actually, in truth, you have to really protect yourself. And so that is really important to understand. And that's actually one point that most people do not understand. And I felt that this really is missing in the refuge explanation. And so that is why I created this new card where I wanted to really clarify that. Who really protects yourself? So who really protects you is the Buddha, but it's your inner Buddha. It's your inner transcendent awareness. It is your own wisdom. And for example, everyone has that wisdom. Everyone has some kind of awareness. For example, an ant also can, for example, build their nest where they stay. And then they carry all kinds of things there to build that. And they do that, they go around because they have this intelligence. And now likewise, human beings have that same intelligence, this intelligent awareness that we have to put to use. So that awareness is actually your inner Buddha. And it's important that you do not only use this intelligence for thinking about this life, but it's important to, with this awareness, to understand karma and to recognize that love and compassion are the only causes of happiness. And if you never separate from that, then you will only go to happiness. You will actually separate from everything else. You will separate from your wealth and your possessions and everything. That can be taken from you. But your love and your compassion, no one can take that from you. And it will follow you in all future lifetimes. So if you never separate from it, then the ice block of self-grasping will melt into water. So we are introduced to the fact that ice is actually water, and it can be melted if you cultivate the warmth of love and compassion. And eventually it will dissolve into the vast ocean water. So that's also one outer example that I myself came up with, and that's really very fitting. So never separate from that. If you never separate from love and compassion, then first of all, temporarily, you will, if you have love, you will practice generosity and ethical discipline and patience. And ultimately, you will practice meditation and wisdom, and that will lead to enlightenment. And all of these practices need to be supported by diligence. And that is basically mindfulness. You're always mindful of what you do. And that is that wisdom that knows what to do and what not to do that we mentioned before. So in the new refuge card, it explains the inner refuge very clearly. It says, I take refuge in my own wisdom, this discriminating awareness. That is the heart essence of the Buddha. And I take refuge in love and compassion. That is the heart essence of the Dharma. And I take refuge in the spiritual friends. That is the heart essence of companions. So I created this card really to clarify that point so that we can really understand how we actually will be protect that. And of course, on the outer level, the 3 jewels, our sources of refuge, are the same. But it is also important to understand the inner 3 jewels. And for this reason, I created this card. So that's maybe the only difference between this and other refuges. There's ultimately no difference, but just this card is meant to clarify that point.
Labzati, the Japanese Magidal, Labza, Lamita Yori, Zawa Chesa, Gelogis, give me lots of Mambo Yori, Titamji in the Kashi, oh, that is on one Sawa, yes, on the Takabori, Japanese Tomasha, Samari, Samuel, they married. Oh, so long has a lamp, but something, New Boston Yori, New Boston. This him could have just read. Lunga Savati, read the Range, march about the song, march about the song, Locher song, Locher song, Dodger song, Dodger song. Many Yachar songs on the songs, song Chopari, Kasi song to the song, but took the song, Lavamari, Ivani. Onati, song devati, Devakari. Never jumped in the last of Tanjine last opinion, get a song yore, Neka Toji Deva, and the Master last of a song yore, Dear Tantia, that Kaya song to go in Natic Mato, that is about children to get it. Oh, that same Kaisan word. You know, you keep one of Sotargo about Sankt Gangli, Sotar shipping over the Yin and Nubasawate. Tungiba, you know, was out around the Bahako or testing. Tangi Jabu the Bashu, she yender and changes the man, no matter what have you check goats. We need to let to be Hakon, nobody, you know, no matter what have you check goats. Simply so just son, dear the corner, this was a doma or jet yours. Oh, ye people drummer, so long round the top of the Hakon. The year Cassia people, the Kaya drummers of Sangu Pingo, some Lord is on. Lord is on the master, the Lord is a peg or so, Lord is a Yin Pingo release on a daddy ratio, your Yim Yip drummer, Sandom Sand, Santos of the Wong is. Didn't hear it on actually do much in pay away. Carry paying those or Sanji, simply Tamji Sanji is what you buy is. One of Sanji was Dadi, same with the local Dadi, the may pass only, same the Dadi in the what? Don't certainly somebody say me, you just say me, Killa, the Dadi in me, Hako, and Charlotte Japto Joy. Oh, Sanji is about the theory. Same with why you may talk down, same current joy or marriage, same current Namkana Yabashiba. They have quality, and you get on Angona, Madam Sound, the little bit, GP Lord, Gilly, Tay to Madri, GP Sala, Niji Sala, Tony, Yigan, Tom dinner, Nika Mumova. 다시 당장 타도라서 봤던 요리 타토거든지 나이니지 총도 요리 다홍 일신고 제보지 디소와디가 아니오니 기필로데 사지 디소네 그래서 그리스테나 오 샘데싱도 보면 찍자면 되지 내가 자공도 타토 스타마 상계야도 상 하고 요리 대학원들이 누구 다낭 정나 마동 상도 심지상지 사지 형보 독서하고는 이거 상하고 과차고 대스모데 가가 소상하선 도마근 거들 실 대하고 와서들이 안 저기 요리 들이 대 내가 토고는 내가 세이 고조선데 용 대양 당양들 뭐 세이 고조선데 단적들이 가는 요거 사지 장매봐 추장매봐 주복제 대제동 그들 장매봐에 옛날양 다다 그들 찍라 그 그들 송담지 속사지 그들 찍고 줘서 사을 대시기 제보요래 대신은 장롱이롱 대기로 제방을 간시지데 누가 제험자죠 대시에 샘스 핀샘도 요래 대 고조선 무스더니 그들은 사고요래 제마체티 소소라더니 상바대 유지지나 또 상속서와 차용을 뒤는 타톡들이 다음에 찬다 다음에 동선들이 시랍 하고는들이 다음에 또 시랍들이 사제 공방들이 세분서 마태님이 샘상계 공동을 리더로 해서 말고 말이 배나 대다와 하고는들이 달비도마 쉬와도 송아 레라라도 요리 들이랑 송강도 들이 니바디 하고는 또들이 죽은이 바리 콘초성군이 봐 샘사지 소소를 요리데 대들이 삼바다 hinkelin 말이나 들이 네 저로도 쳤고요 뭐 티베에서 싸우고 하고나 들이 책성대로 소상 가서 노봉고 하고 있고요 들이 이제 하장 가르치 머리 들이 나봐 사지 봐 약합적다리 약합티 메시지오요 들이 아니 소비만데 파스포르 tradition in Torida cortagino roadia roati na carta dritini dalla guaia potopsare betere tenen rosa modura ko baja gore bene dri paso tobasa mete ya yogo mare drita jambi do maharadi mo pukiste.
So regarding the precepts, the trainings of the Refuge Vow, there's all kinds of different explanations on that, and there's different kinds of precepts and things to practice. And for example, we say there is a great variety of vows we can take, like the 4 root vows, or even like ordained vows of a novice, monk, or nun, and a fully ordained, and so on. So when you hear all of these different vows that one can take, and then you might think that I am not able to keep all those vows. For example, I'm not able to keep those 4 root vows. So maybe it's better don't take the refuge vow. So that's not how you should see it. Actually, within the refuge vow, the heart essence of the 3 levels of the path are complete. That is the individual liberation, Bodhisattva path, and the Vajrayana path. They are all complete within the refuge vow and within your own mind. And so regarding the vows of your body and speech, you have to see for yourself which of those vows you can take and for how long you can take them. So ideally, if you think you're able to take a vow for as long as you live, then you take it for as long as you live. But if you can't do that, you can also take a vow, let's say, for a year. Or if you can't do that, but you can keep it for a month, then you should do that. And if you cannot do that, but you could take it for 24 hours, then keep it for 24 hours. I mean, it doesn't make a difference. You have to see it for yourself. So actually, when we give those vows, nobody is actually saying that you have to keep all those vows for that duration. You have to really see for yourself whatever you are able and for how long you're able to keep those vows. Then you can think that to yourself and then just take that vow. And then now the result of taking those vows is, for example, in future lives, the result corresponding to the cause and so on, or also in the Nyingne practice, various benefits are explained. Basically, we temporarily will attain birth in the higher realms because we have practiced generosity, ethical discipline, and patience. So then you might wonder that if I can't keep all of these vows, what if I only can take one vow? Can I still take refuge? So then still you can take refuge. It's really up to you. You have to think that you have to think it in your own mind. You just think which vow can I take, and that's the vow you then keep. And so here in the refuge card, it is explained then how the refuge vow is the essence of the 3 levels of vow, naturally. So it says, first, when harm to others and its cause are abandoned, the individual liberation vows are complete. So you, when you take the refuge vow, then you think that you recognize, first of all, the fault of harming others. And you also recognize that harming others really is harming yourself. So having taken the refuge vow, I shall try to not harm any living being knowingly or intentionally, because I understand karma. So that's really based on understanding karma. So I vow not to harm a single sentient being. If you have that mind, then really within that mind, the essence of the individual liberation vows are complete. And then next it says, when help to others and its cause are accomplished, the Bodhisattvas' vows are complete. So then, on top of not wanting to harm others, you also want to actually benefit others. Because you also know that if I benefit others, I also will accumulate merit. And if you cannot benefit others, at least you should have the wish, the aspiration to benefit others. And that's actually most important, to have this wish to always benefit others. And every time this wish to benefit others arises, your own self-grasping actually diminishes. So that's the second level of the vow, of the Bodhisattva vow. And if you have this altruistic wish to benefit others, that's really the essence of the Bodhisattva vow. And so then, can you really actually benefit sentient beings on the ultimate level? And how? And so that then leads us to the third level of the vow, the Vajrayana vow. And so the Buddha himself has said that all beings are actually Buddhas. So ultimately, all beings are the same as the Buddha. And the state of Buddhahood is the state where self-grasping has been cleared away completely, and you have realized that there is no self and other. And that is realized if you give rise to immeasurable love and compassion. Then you will really understand the non-duality of self and other. And then the ice block will melt and merge to be one with the ocean. So when you know that, then you realize that actually my mind actually is the Buddha. There's no difference. The only difference really is the way you perceive it, the way you see it. It depends on whether or not there's grasping in your mind. That's the only difference. But the mind itself actually remains as it is unchangingly. The mind is always the same. The mind is like space. But the difference is on whether you develop grasping or not. So it says, thirdly, when one is adept at the pure perception of the vessel and contents, the mantric vows are complete. And so gradually, as you develop the altruistic mind and compassion arises, actually from compassion arising, the understanding of emptiness will naturally actually arise. And because now, what we call emptiness here also means that on a temporary level, it means that afflictive emotions, especially anger and jealousy and so on, become empty. And on the ultimate level, it means that you clear away all dualistic grasping at self and other. And so it begins with the altruistic mind. That is, you are caring for others more than you care for yourself. And the first experience that you will gain here is that you will realize that caring for others, the altruistic mind that cares for others, that actually leads to an experience of great happiness. You feel very blissful when you help others. And so then based on that, because of that, you continue to practice. And finally, the self disappears. And then you realize that it is just like an ice block. And when it all melts, then all there is the same Buddha nature. And all beings have that Buddha nature. So ultimately, therefore, all beings really are Buddhas if only their ice block of self-grasping is melting. So to know that is really the essence of the tantric vows. It is to understand that all sentient beings possess Buddha nature and they can attain enlightenment. So that is really the essence of the Vajrayana vows. And if you understand the three vows only in this way, it is actually enough. And then in order to really attain the results, first you should bring to mind the qualities of the three jewels again and again. So there is the Buddha, and there are countless Buddhas in this world and the universe. And then there is the limitless Dharma. There's 84,000 Dharma teachings and so on. And there's also limitless Sangha. And still, they all are actually complete within a single Sangha. So the three jewels are complete within a single Sangha. A single Sangha, one Sangha's body represents all of the Sangha, and the speech represents the Dharma, and the mind is the Buddha. And if you really know that, then you will not really pay so much attention to whether the teacher is great or not and so on, because what that teacher is speaking about is the Buddha's words. The teacher refrains from harming others, and the teacher tells you, do not commit any wrong. And that is really the word of the Buddha. So for this reason, that Sangha really represents the three jewels. And then not only that Sangha, actually also you, if you give rise to love and compassion, you also become a Sangha or a Bodhisattva. And ultimately, you will become free of self-grasping. Ultimately, you will develop the wisdom that realizes that there is no self. And that is the state of enlightenment, when you realize that. So the state of enlightenment is really just a state where there is no more grasping. So the mind is always the same, but the difference lies in grasping or not grasping. So it's not the body that needs to become enlightened, like a light body and so on, but really it's the mind that needs to attain Buddhahood. And so if you only give rise to bodhicitta and you keep that as well as you can, then that is really the essence of all the vows. And of all the three jewels, the power of protection really comes from that. It comes from the Dharma. It comes from bodhicitta. And your own mind is already the Buddha, actually. It is just you have not recognized that. But you recognize it if you never separate from the Dharma, from love and compassion, because then the ice block of self-grasping will melt. So this is an example that you should understand very clearly. And then you will also understand the meaning of those three lines here on how taking the refuge vow really actually encompasses all of those three levels of the vow. So that's extremely important. And so then, now we can see Buddhism as a whole, just like a country you go to. And now when you take the refuge vow, you're becoming like a citizen of that country. The 37 Bodhisattva practices are your passport to go to that country. And then with that passport, you can then use your boarding ticket, which is your refuge card. And with that, you can board the plane to go to the higher realms and the pure lands like Devachan and so on. So you have received your passport and your visa and you have your boarding card, you're ready to go. But then whether you go or not, as you mentioned before, again, it depends on you. So there's no use in just having the passport and the visa and everything if you actually never take a step and go anywhere. So once you have received that, then it's up to you to also go there. So that's really the meaning of the refuge vow.
give out on the top theory, young McGiver on this and you chivari, Ben Jacob William, then you chivari pieces. Then Jacob Messila and Revai the top to a Jacob top the Yore, Namara Jacob Jatayore, the was also with Jacob and Marmuchasawari, this also getting by years. Getting by the Yonti Mana, so don't something goes, something still has Zuba goes, something Soleil Yore, in them. That W loves that Dodo Chicken, something is Zuba goes. Something. Woman drawers, Zuba the cup drawer, something the Chia Slap, Ragi, Niga, the Pimpa that David, painting Jungleshi, but something is stay basically Zuba Mila, Tamapa Tamsa, Lardo, Yori, Kings and Trailer, they're getting by something that Zuba goes. Something is Zuba knew that they come to Domaka, Shabzai and the Tangi Yori. To Kadina, Sona, Tritevela, Tep the Kawasona, they tell the Lovatoma Mary, so this also Jacob Carnosona, they took Tema to the Lord the Oya Mary, this came the Trinagan Tower to Kasaka, Tehiores, the teachings in Itabidova, that Klinichi, literally, Klinichi, Ni Yore. Thomas say, just in soil part early, in just our just in soil part, Luaga Doma, Naki, Naga, Karisawa, Jelasoba, Gansum, so you and Tom with on the one the Shena. The song down my young was there, not till Joy Partner. So you and Tom with the rap. Mashipar, then law, Tana Dawa, then Yacha Roguyori, Tirata Kadichile, this is soil part of the ship. There is some chosen, who chose somebody, Gabdity, that's how much age about the Sancho Center. That's somebody in Hinges, Wagon, that Wajavi, the just is Sancho, you want to teach about the Sancho, you want left Sardi. Till go married. That is you carry it. Daji Nime Chatsari. Dagna Tati Daji Nime Chatsarati, Sancho, this is the Bishop San, then Tato Saja with Tomato, Sanji, the Tabadeva, Sanji, the father to the Tabadeva, and there's Sanji, and then Kakami Chakayore, Ben the Doctor Chivichari Nime Vanaki, then the Bachelet of the Sanji, the Yemi, but Yam the Royore. Belle Jacob top the Rasan and Yam the Royal Places, the Hajat Lap Chimbore, the little Jesus.
So this little book, the 37 Bodhisattva Practices, is really very, very precious. And so, for example, now, if I were to place in front of you a chunk of gold and that little book, which one would you take? Probably you would take the chunk of gold. Most people think there's so many books out there anyways, and the gold is really very useful. But then you should think about this again more carefully. So then what's really the benefit of the gold? Like, why would you pick the gold? Well, it's because there is some benefit in this life. Then my whole situation in this life, everything will improve. Everything will get better in this life and easier. So you're thinking only about this life, really. If you're really thinking about not only this life, but future lives, then certainly you would not pick the chunk of gold. You would take the little book. Because if you have the instructions in that book, then you will be able to accept and deal with your suffering and difficulty in this life, and also you will be able to make preparations for your well-being in future lives. So if you then really think about what you would really prefer, then you would actually realize, actually, I would prefer that little book. And so once you have taken the Refuge Vow, it is said that after having taken the Refuge Vow, whatever virtue you practice, it becomes more powerful. but also the non-virtue becomes a little more powerful too. So, for example, if you become a citizen of a country, then you have to follow the laws of that country. And if you break the laws, then you will be punished by the country. But if you keep the laws, then also you have all the rights of a person in that country. So the country will stand behind you, and you will have all the power of that country behind you. So once you have taken the refuge vow, you think, now I am a Sangha. And a Sangha in general has many different good qualities, but the most important quality to have as a Sangha is to have love and to have patience. And everyone actually does have love, but most people do not have patience. So we have love, but once we have taken the refuge vow, it is important, the real training actually in brief is to have patience. Love is like milk, and patience is like a cup that contains the milk. So you don't lose it, so you don't spill the milk. So if you have love and you keep it, then it will become the cause of all happiness in all future lifetimes. It is the source of all benefit and happiness. But if you have no patience, then you are just like an ordinary person. An ordinary person loses their love very quickly if they encounter all kinds of circumstances. They swiftly lose their love. So once you have taken a refuge vow, you should really keep up this awareness, thinking, I am a Sangha, so I have to hold on to my love. And the way to do that is by practicing patience. So basically the training, the precepts of the refuge really are the 37 practices, that little booklet. And because it is so important and so powerful, actually, wherever I go, I am distributing that book. And I would feel that if I would go to a country, a place, and I wouldn't have that book to give to the people, I would really feel very, very unhappy, uneasy about that. It would be like being empty-handed. Everything would be empty. So I really want to make sure that wherever I go, I am passing on this little book. And this book really is like my own heart that I'm giving to you. So that is very important, therefore, as our training. And so then next we will repeat the refuge vow, that is the commitment. And there's 2 levels to it. There's basically 2 vows that we will repeat. And the first one, in the first vow, we say that I'm taking that vow from now on and for as long as I live. And so here you can, as we mentioned before, bring to mind any of those vows that you think you can keep. It can be 1 vow or 2 or the 4 root vows, or refraining from any of the 10 non-virtuous actions and so on. So you just think to yourself, whichever vow you can keep, that's the one you take to yourself. And in terms of timing, we mentioned before, ideally for as long as you live, or if not, then for like a year or for a month, or even just for 24 hours. So you can see for yourself and decide for yourself. So that's the first level, the first commitment. And then the second one is where we say, I will not forsake bodhicitta and the 3 jewels until attaining enlightenment. So the first one was until death, and the second one is until enlightenment. And so here you think that I will hold on to love and compassion and patience, and I will not give up bodhicitta and the 3 jewels, my true sources of refuge, until I attain the heart of enlightenment. And then so now saying that until then might lead you to think that, okay, so once I'm there, then I don't need it anymore. So only until then, and then I don't need it anymore. So actually, how it really is that you become actually that when you attain enlightenment, because then when you attain enlightenment, you have become free of all dualistic grasping to self and other. So enlightenment in Tibetan means Changchup, and Chang means to purify. So at this point, all dualistic grasping has become purified, and you have realized the ultimate view of Mahamudra. And at that time, when there's no more duality, you actually merge non-dually with all the Buddhas. And then there's no more separation between you or any other Buddha. And therefore, the enlightened activities of all the Buddhas will become your own activities. There's no more separation. There will be no more concept of that's me and that's that Buddha and so on. There's no more division. Just like water, there is no duality, no division. So you realize, at the state of enlightenment, you realize non-duality, that everything is indivisible. And then you will really become like this powerful country. Then all the powers will become really your powers. So that's the ultimate fruition then. And so next we will then repeat those refuge vows.
officially chopa deche yore te chipa chikyam ri kang ri dina saje chang chudang ni tapa ji che me ba saje ha ko yore shirap ke tni kha ni yona ma wa kha de ma pu si ya yore tni de tni kha de la nga shi so na tab do ma kha de la ni chipa chikyam ri nga shi na sewa shi ya yo ma se ya yo ma te ha ko yore se tapa ri yore tni te Davido Matar's and Sophia, that totally Davido Materi, Tupachi Jangri, Chibario Mari, the family in Tokyo, Trinag, Kuzon to think, Kari, only teach only in Tokyo.
And so also actually I've given those refuge cards to the office because actually even if you're not here, you can receive the refuge vow from a distance, and then the office also will send you the refuge card. And receiving refuge in this way actually is exactly the same as if you were here right now receiving it directly in person. There's no difference at all. And that is because the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha are always present. The Buddha is wisdom, and with wisdom, the Buddha always knows of us, always looks upon us. And so, therefore, I've made these refuge cards, and also in the future, you can, wherever you are, you can receive the refuge vow from a distance, no matter where you are. And actually, even after I have left this body, I'm still, the refuge vow is the same. You can still continue to take the refuge vow through this card. Because what really passes away is only the body, but the mind actually cannot die. So my love cannot die. My love for you will never die. That love will always remain. So therefore, wherever you are, far or close, and at any time, you can always receive the refuge vow, and there is no difference whatsoever. It is just like receiving it in person. And so if you receive it in this way, then you can just take the vow, for example, in the presence of a representative of enlightened body, speech, and mind, and in that way you can receive refuge. So then please repeat. Noble One, please grant me your attention from this time on and for as long as I live. I who am called, and say your name, go for refuge in the Buddha, who is supreme among two-legged beings. I go for refuge in the Dharma, which is supreme among those free of attachment. I go for refuge in the Sangha, which is supreme among assemblies, for as long as I live. Noble One, please accept me as a lay adherent to the threefold refuge, who observes a few precepts. Master, please grant me your attention from this time on and until the essence of enlightenment manifests. I, who am called, and say your name, go for refuge in the Buddha, who is supreme among two-legged beings. I go for refuge in the Dharma, which is supreme among those free of attachment. I go for refuge in the Sangha, which is supreme among assemblies, until the essence of enlightenment manifests. Master, please accept me as a lay adherent to the threefold refuge, who observes one or more of the 5 precepts.
타비노.
Like so.
사지 고파도 타비노 어제 렉소지 내지 모나데 세지도 제들이 다음에 이제 팩토리 니지스들이 잡고 좀 모나데 다제세 다트로 들들로 사지들이 미소자 초요래.
So now Rinpoche just said Tapino, which means this is the method. And so that's the method to attain enlightenment. And now in response, we then say Lexo, which means excellent. And so then after that, we will repeat the concluding prayers. And in the meantime, you can already start coming up and you will have a piece of your hair clipped. And also, while we do that, we will recite the prayer for excellent conduct together. And so basically, after you're done with your hair clipping and the prayer, then you're free to leave and take a rest. You have it?
Okay, so please repeat. Training, emulating all of the conquerors. May I bring excellent conduct to total completion and engage in holy, pure, stainless, ethical conduct that never degenerates and is without fault. In this and every successive lifetime, may I never be separated from the 3 precious jewels. For the sake of Dharma, may I be unstinting with even my life force and engage the purpose of wayfarers through great determination. May precious, supreme bodhicitta become manifest where it has not yet arisen. May that which has arisen not degenerate, but ever further increase. In this and every successive lifetime, may I not be separated from the supreme teachings of the unequaled Drikung Ratna Shri, and may glorious gurus take me into their care. In all rebirths, may I never be parted from the authentic gurus, and always enjoy the Dharma glories. Having fully completed the qualities of grounds and paths, may I swiftly attain Vajradhara state. In each and every rebirth, may I be of noble lineage, clear-minded, devoid of pride, greatly compassionate, and respectful of the Guru. Thus, may I observe the Samaya with the glorious Guru. Whatever aspiration prayers have been made for the sake of wayfaring beings, from ever excellent in great Vajradhara on down to the kind root Guru, may every one of them be swiftly accomplished. Training, emulating all of the conquerors, may I bring excellent conduct to total completion and engage in holy, pure, stainless, ethical conduct that never degenerates and is without fault. In this and every successive lifetime, may I never be separated from the three precious jewels. For the sake of Dharma, may I be unstinting with even my life force and engage the purpose of wayfarers through great determination. May precious Supreme Bodhicitta become manifest where it has not yet arisen. May that which has arisen not degenerate, but ever further increase. In this and every successive lifetime, may I not be separated from the supreme teachings of the unequaled Drikung Ratnashri, and may glorious gurus take me into their care. In all rebirths, may I never be parted from authentic gurus, and always enjoy the Dharma glories. Having fully completed the qualities of the grounds and paths, may I swiftly attain Vajradhara state. In each and every rebirth, may I be of noble lineage, clear-minded, devoid of pride, greatly compassionate, and respectful of the Guru. Thus, may I observe the Samaya with the glorious Guru. Whatever aspiration prayers have been made for the sake of wayfaring beings, from ever excellent great Vajradhara on down to the kind root Guru, may every one of them be swiftly accomplished. Training, emulating all of the conquerors, may I bring excellent conduct to total completion and engage in holy, pure, stainless, ethical conduct that never degenerates and is without fault. In this and every successive lifetime, may I never be separated from the three precious jewels. For the sake of Dharma, may I be unstinting with even my life force and engage the purpose of wayfarers through great determination. May precious, supreme bodhicitta become manifest where it has not yet arisen. May that which has arisen not degenerate, but ever further increase. In this and every successive lifetime, may I not be separated from the supreme teachings of the unequaled Drikung Ratnashri, and may glorious gurus take me into their care. In all rebirths, may I never be parted from authentic gurus, and always enjoy the Dharma glories. Having fully completed the qualities of the grounds and paths, may I swiftly attain Vajradhara state. In each and every rebirth, may I be of noble lineage, clear-minded, devoid of pride, greatly compassionate, and respectful of the Guru. Thus may I observe the Samaya with the glorious Guru. Whatever aspiration prayers have been made for the sake of wayfaring beings, from ever excellent, great Vajradhara, on down to the kind root Guru, may every one of them be swiftly accomplished. And so now we'll continue with the aspiration prayer of excellent conduct. This is on page 52 in the Blue Book. So page 52. Homage to the ever-youthful Manjushri. With purity of body, speech, and mind, I bow to the all heroic Buddhas of the past, present, and future, without exception, in every world and in all 10 directions. By the power of this aspiration of Samantabhadra, I bow with as many bodies as there are atoms in the world to all those victorious Buddhas manifest in my mind, and I pay homage to all of them. I conceive the entire realm of truth to be completely filled with enlightened ones. On each atom, I imagine there to be as many Buddhas as atoms in the world, each Buddha surrounded by many Bodhisattvas. I honor all these blissful lords by praising their perfections with all the sounds of various melodies, an ocean of endless praise. I offer to all those heroic Buddhas the finest flowers, garlands, music, and ointments, excellent canopies, choice lamps, and the best incense. I offer as well to those victorious ones the fine array of excellent things, the finest robes and fragrances, and heaps of sweet-smelling powders as high as Mount Meru. By the power of my faith in the deeds of Samantabhadra, I prostrate and present vast and unequaled offerings to each of the victorious Buddhas. I confess every type of wrong that I have done in thought, word, deed, while influenced by desire, anger, and ignorance. I rejoice in the meritorious deeds of all the Buddhas, as well as those performed by the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Pratyeka Buddhas, Arhats, and those who are in the path of training, those who need no more training, and by all sentient beings in the 10 directions. I entreat the enlightened protectors who have attained the detachment of Buddhahood and illuminate the worlds of the 10 directions to turn the peerless wheel of Dharma. With folded hands, I beseech those who intend to manifest the final nirvana to remain for as many aeons as there are atoms in all the worlds, for the benefit and happiness of all living beings. May whatever small amount of virtue I may have gained from prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, and beseeching be dedicated to attainment of perfect enlightenment. May I worship the Buddhas of the past and those now present in the worlds of the 10 directions. May those to come quickly fulfill their aspiration and reach Buddhahood by traversing the stages of enlightenment swiftly. May all the worlds of the 10 directions become extensively and completely pure. May it be filled with Bodhisattvas and victorious Buddhas who proceed to the royal tree of enlightenment. May all living beings in the 10 directions always be happy and free of sickness. May they be endowed with favorable circumstances for achieving dharmic goals. May their wishes be accomplished. May I remember my lives in all states of existence while in the training for enlightenment, and all my successive births and deaths may always embrace religious life. May I follow all the victorious Buddhas and perfect all the deeds of Samantabhadra, pure in the morality without defect. May my conduct always be flawless. May I teach the Dharma in every tongue, in whatever sounds are understood by living beings, in the language of the gods, nagas, demons, spirits, and human beings. May I steadfastly apply myself to the 6 perfections. May I never disregard my intention to attain enlightenment and completely remove whatever faults may obscure my path. May I be free from karma, emotional afflictions, and the influence of demons, like the lotus unsoiled by the mire, or like the sun and moon in a clear sky, so that I may proceed unhindered. Throughout all the lands and all the directions, may I relieve the sufferings of the lower realms. May I be able to bring happiness to and provide benefit for all living beings. Fully accomplishing the activities of enlightenment, may I work in harmony with the needs of all beings. May I practice and demonstrate the deeds of Samantabhadra through all future aeons. May I always associate with those whose activities are similar to mine. May we act alike in thought, word, and deed, and may our aspirations be as one. May I always associate with spiritual friends who wish to help me and teach the deeds of Samantabhadra. May I never cause them pain or disappointment. May I always personally behold the victorious Buddhas, those guardians surrounded by Bodhisattvas. Without tiring in all future aeons, may I always present them magnificent offerings. May I always uphold the Buddha's holy Dharma and illuminate the deeds of enlightenment. May I train in the practice of Samantabhadra in all future aeons. Through the rebirth in all states of existence, may I gather an endless store of merit and wisdom. May I become an inexhaustible treasure of all virtues of method, wisdom, concentration, and liberation. May I always behold as many pure lands as there are atoms present in each world, with inconceivable Buddhas sitting in the midst of their Bodhisattvas and performing the activities of enlightenment. In this way, may I be able to see everywhere, even on every mote of dust, countless Buddhas of the past, present, and future, limitless pure lands and endless aeons. May I always heed the pure speech of the victorious Buddhas, which holds within each word the totality of the perfect Dharma, and an ocean of languages precisely suited to the needs of each being. May I possess the perfect intelligence to heed the endless melody of speech when the victorious Buddhas of the past, present, and future turn the wheel of Dharma. May I accomplish the Bodhisattva's practice of entering the past, present, and future in a fraction of a second. May I know in a single instant all that is encompassed in the duration of the 3 times. May I behold all the heroic Buddhas of the past, present, future in a single instant. May I always perform their activities through the power of liberation from illusion. May I perceive upon a single atom the perfect design of the pure realms of the past, present, and future. Thus may I enter into the realms of the victorious Buddhas in all directions. When the illuminators of the worlds of the future realize the stages of Buddhahood, turn the wheel and enter the profound peace of nirvana, may always be in their presence. May I accomplish the perfect powers of enlightenment, the power of miraculous swiftness, the power of perfection of every spiritual path, the power of all virtuous qualities, the power of all pervasive loving kindness, the power of the merit of every virtue, the power of all transcendent wisdom, and the power of perfect knowledge, method, and meditation. May the forces of karma be utterly purified, the power of passions utterly subdued, the power of demons utterly destroyed, and the power of the deeds of Samantabhadra perfected. May I tirelessly perform the enlightened activities for an ocean of aeons, purifying an ocean of lands, liberating an ocean of beings, realizing an ocean of dharma, attaining an ocean of wisdom, perfecting an ocean of practice, accomplishing an ocean of aspirations, ceaselessly severing an ocean of Buddhas. May I completely fulfill all perfect aspirations to the enlightened activities of the victorious Buddhas of the 3 times by attaining enlightenment according to the deeds of Samantabhadra. The eldest son of the victorious Buddhas is called Samantabhadra. I dedicate all these virtuous actions that my deeds may be like his. May my body, speech, mind, deeds, and environment always be pure. May I become equal to Samantabhadra in these excellent aspirations. May there be no limit to my activities. May there be no limit to my virtues. Through limitless perseverance, may I accomplish all miraculous deeds. The limit of living beings is like the limit of open space. May the limit of my aspirations be equal to the limit of their activities and passions. Whoever offers to the victorious Buddhas all the perfect joys of gods and men, and the infinite realms of the 10 directions adorned with jewels, for as many aeons as there are atoms in all those realms, shall gain great merit. But whoever hears this greatest dedication prayer and is inspired by faith to intensely desire supreme enlightenment shall gain even higher and holier merit. Whoever recites the aspiration of Samantabhadra will never again endure hellish rebirth, will abandon all evil friends, and will soon behold Amitabha, the Buddha of boundless light. They will gain all benefits, live in happiness, attain precious human rebirth, and soon become like Samantabhadra himself. Even those who in ignorance committed the 5 unredeemable sins will soon be completely purified by reciting this aspiration of Samantabhadra. They will achieve perfect wisdom, a radiant countenance, beautiful form, auspicious physical marks, and noble birth. Profane and devilish beings will not trouble them, and they will be honored in the 3 realms. They will quickly reach the tree of enlightenment and reside there to benefit all beings. As enlightened Buddhas, they will turn the wheel of Dharma, taming the demonic hosts. Whoever perseveres and teaches and recites this aspiration of Samantabhadra shall ultimately attain perfect Buddhahood. May none despair of complete enlightenment. In whatever way valiant Manjushri and Samantabhadra know how to transfer merit, so do I dedicate all of my own virtues so that I might train to be like them. Since dedication is praised as supreme by the victorious Buddhas of the 3 times, I dedicate all these roots of virtue to accomplishing the deeds of Samantabhadra. The moment of my death, may all my obscurations be removed, that I may behold Amitabha, the Buddha of boundless light, and go to Sukhavati, the pure land of perfect bliss. In that blissful land, may I completely fulfill all of these aspirations, benefit all beings as long as the universe remains. Joyful there in that blessed assembly of the Buddha, may I be reborn like the holy ones from exquisite lotus, and may the Buddha Amitabha himself foretell my own enlightenment. May I thereafter emanate endlessly through the power of perfect wisdom to accomplish countless benefit for living beings in all the 10 directions. Through whatever small virtues I have gathered by reciting this aspiration of Samantabhadra, may all the virtuous aspirations of living beings be accomplished in a single moment. Through the boundless merit gained by dedicating these aspirations of Samantabhadra, may the countless beings drowning in the torrent of suffering reach the stage of Amitabha. May this greatest of dedication prayers benefit countless living beings. May reciting this ornament of Samantabhadra release all beings from the suffering of the lower realms.
Everybody Sangha, thank you. Namo Sanghaya. Sanghaya Namo Padaya Namo Tamaya Namo Sanghaya Namo Jala Namo.
So a couple of quick announcements. These are getting kind of common, aren't they? So just one thing for those of you who are leaving, please check out our programs. We have a couple of flyers in the hallway across from the office describing our future programs. There's some exciting things like after our Vajrakilaya Drupshan, we're doing a 1-month-long Vajrakilaya retreat for folks who want to do that in our retreat village. The other thing is, anyone who's leaving today and hasn't paid their tuition, could they please come do that? And we would deeply appreciate that, and it's great karma for everybody. Thank you so much, and Diane has the thing to say.
We have a practice tonight at 6:30, so... Yes. So practice at 6:30 begins at 6:30. It will be Lama Chopa tonight, which is a form of Guru Yoga, a devotional guru practice. So we'll have the texts out here, the Lama Chopa book for you to take, and then a separate book that looks like this. So if you come back before one of us is here, that's what you're going to take. Also, anyone who wants to come back a few minutes early. So this is like hot off the presses news. So you might want to hear this because it's very interesting. Rinpoche has restored the melody. We will be doing White Zambala tonight, I believe. I think so. Now we've been doing, those of you who have been doing White Zambala with us for a long time, you know the melody. However, Rinpoche has told us that that's actually not exactly the correct melody. He's restored it to its original state by training some folks in the very correct melody. Last night, I tried to work it in without announcing it. Some people knew the old melody, so we had like this melding kind of thing going on. So it wasn't quite the old one, and it wasn't the original that we were trying to get to. Tonight, I'll practice a few lines of that. We'll practice it together so that when it comes to the text, we can nail it. And before Rinpoche is present, with us, he'll be, oh my goodness, they picked up so well. He'll probably knows what we're doing right now. But anyway, so anyone who wants to come back, 5 minutes early, I'll get here early. We can practice it together. We'll also practice it if you don't get back here early. So just listen and know that it's a little different. Enjoy your dinner, everyone. I think it's this side first, this side in a few. Lama Chopa and then White Zambala at the end.